Victoria's lockdown has been extended for another 7 days, meaning restrictions aren't expected to ease until next Wednesday. 13 new cases were confirmed overnight. 3 Victorians are in hospital with the virus, but none of those are in an ICU. The Chief Health Officer says the trend is positive, but he wants to see daily case numbers in the single digits soon. State political reporter Bridget Rollison begins our coverage.
With more than 300 exposure sites and another 13 cases today, Victoria will remain locked down for another week.
We can't run the risk that there are cases out there that we don't know about.
The state's border restrictions will also be tougher. No one in a red zone will be able to enter Victoria for the next fortnight unless they have an exemption.
Things are too unstable, too uncertain and frankly out of control from a virus point of view in Sydney. And we need to protect Victoria.
The most concerning new case today was one unlinked infection, a woman in her 20s from Roxburgh Park in Melbourne's north.
We have very strong indications that she is connected to the City of Hume outbreak.
The virus has also been detected in wastewater there, and anyone with symptoms is urged to get tested immediately.
Obviously, I'm a bit concerned about Roxburgh Park.
There are also 7 more cases linked to Ms Frankie in Cremorne, 2 from Trinity Grammar, 2 more household contacts of people who were at the MCG, and another linked to the Phillip Island cluster. A third of all primary close contacts are in regional Victoria.
Leaving it smouldering, this Delta variant, leaving it with a handful of cases even, really does mean that you almost certainly will have a further outbreak.
Victoria's lockdowns continue to disrupt schools and the opposition want that to change.
We need to implement a plan to keep schools open during COVID lockdowns, and part of that plan should be to prioritise teacher vaccinations.
The lockdown won't be lifted until almost all of the cases are in isolation for their entire infectious period. But the trend is promising. 9 of today's 13 cases were already isolating, and the 4 that weren't were only in the community for less than a day.
Can't say yet whether we're ahead of this thing, but I do know that our contact tracers, our health team, public health units are wrapping their arms around it.
Either way, Victorian families won't be able to embrace each other the way they'd like for a little longer.
Today we enjoyed it differently.
The extended lockdown means the state's Muslim community can't celebrate the start of Eid al-Adha together, one of the holiest days. But for the greater good, this family is keeping ceremonies small and at home.
One day this situation will change. We'll get back to our normal life.
My absolutely enormous gratitude for those sacrifices that we're making.
Bridget Rollison, ABC News, Melbourne.
As we just heard, there are also new strict rules for red zones and Victorians still caught out of the state. Nicole Asher joins us now. Nicole, what do these changes actually mean?
Thanks, Higo. So it means that anyone who is in New South Wales outside of that border bubble zone past midnight tonight, they won't be allowed back in Victoria unless they have a really compelling reason. So the red belt border permit changes mean that unless they're granted special permission on compassionate grounds or they're a permitted worker, the border will be slammed shut for a fortnight. And the Premier says that each of those compassionate circumstances will be considered on a case-by-case basis. He's warning that could take some time and is urging people to be patient if they do need to come into the state. He says that this shouldn't come as a surprise. He says that people have been warned that, it was dangerous to travel into red zones and that, they may not be able to come in. And so from midnight tonight, that is the case. But we know just how dangerous travel from these red zones can be. The Delta virus has already been carried across the border by people who were allowed to cross the border, and with 21,000 red permits granted in the past month and 11,000 of those still active, the risk posed is very real and it's forced the authorities to take this step. Higo.
Nicole Asher, thank you very much.